Thanks for tuning in. Today, I'm going to do a pack dump. This is the first time we've ever done anything like this on the channel. A lot of people ask me my gear that I use out west on these long trips. So today I'm going to show you. I'm going to start with my pack. Now to preference, this trip is kind of a grand tour of Montana. We're starting on the east side. We're going to be hunting antelope and mule deer. We have general tags for mule deer and elk. So we're starting on the east side and we're going to move our way to the west side. So this is just kind of a general backcountry setup in my pack. I weighed this. This is my base weight. It's about 31 pounds. With everything I'm going to take with me for up to 7 days, that's about how far I can go. That's not including food and water. So when you add in food and water, it's about 2 pounds a day. And then 8 pounds of water-ish, depending on how much I'm carrying. But this is the base weight, about 31 pounds. I'll start with the pack. This is a Stone Glacier. It's a Sky Talus 6900, so it's 6900 cubic inches. That's with the lid. I also have an additional piece that I put on the outside that adds like another 500, but for this first hunt, I don't think I'm going to need it, so it's not on there. It's just a little bit of extra weight and clutter. But this is the pack. I've been using it for 2 years. I think I've packed out 4 animals with this. Countless trips into the backcountry. I don't know, for the past 3 years. I've gone on about 5 long trips and a whole bunch of little trips in between there. So this pack's been real good. It's real lightweight. It's spent a lot of time with me over the years, but I'm just going to open it up and I'll show you what's in there. Starting on the outside, I have the tripod strapped to the outside because it's kind of the easiest place to put it. It's not overly bulky or anything, and it's pretty light, and I can just snap it off and get it set up real quick. So I'll either use that for my camera or my spotting scope. So that's the first thing I'll show you. It's a Suryu. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, but it's a pretty popular brand. Real light, 4-leg section, works pretty well. I've been using this the whole time I've been backcountry hunting as well. So it's held up pretty well. I'm rocking a new head on it this year. This is a small rig head. Just got it off Amazon. It's pretty cheap. It's like 40 bucks. It's real lightweight. It's the Arca Swiss mount, so that mount will work for my camera, my spotting scope, all my other little cameras. I have all sorts of little quick detach plates for it. So that's the tripod. Really lightweight, really nice. The only thing I don't like about it that you may want is a center post. So this doesn't have the center post to make it go up and down. So all the vertical adjustments are done with the 4-leg sections. So sometimes that's a pain, but sacrifices a little bit of a weight when you have that center post. So tripod. We'll dig right into the main guts of the pack now to show my spotting scope. So I've been using this spotting scope the whole time I've been hunting out west. It's a Maven, 15 to 45 power by 65 millimeter. Nice little spotting scope. Something bigger and nicer could be beneficial on this first part of our hunt because we're going to be doing a lot of hunting close to the road, lots of glassing, but this is the spotting scope I have, and it's worked pretty well. Phone scope adapter for it. I've filmed lots of video with that phone scope adapter, and overall it's been a pretty solid little spotting scope. I like how light and compact it is. I don't do anything crazy, no crazy cases or anything. If I'm really dusty, I keep it in the microfiber little pouch that it came with. But other than that, just the cap on the front, and that's the spotting scope. It fastens really easily right to the top of this tripod, just like that, and I'm good to go. So real quick, real easy. This whole thing is about 4.5, 5 pounds. So this whole setup is lighter than a lot of people's spotting scopes, which is nice. Let's see what we get into next. A little bit of odds and ends. I carry this Stone Glacier Sky Tarp, 10 foot by 10 foot tarp. This thing came in real handy when we were bear hunting this past year. Lots of rain. Throw this up with some trekking poles and you're out of the rain in no time. So this has been really beneficial. Also super light. I think it's like a pound for the tarp, the stakes, everything. I may not carry this all the time, but if we're going to be in any weather, and especially on this east side when it's going to be hot, we're going to be in the sun, this is going to be very nice. Well, let's dig in. I'll dig right straight into my sleep system and tent. So, and it gets to the pack. This tent, been my savior in the backcountry. I started using this tent last year on our mule deer hunt. It's a fully enclosed, it's a Nemo tracker, so it's like the First Light Edition Nemo. I think Dylan has the Nemo Hornet, which is also the same as this. It just doesn't have all the First Light odds and ends. So this tent, it's a completely enclosed 2-layer tent. So it has a rain fly and the interior tent, and it's completely enclosed. So no bugs, no ticks. Not like the teepees I've used in the past where you have to worry about bugs coming underneath. You have to worry about ticks and mosquitoes and all that crap. This thing's enclosed and I sleep awesome in it. It's a little bit heavier than the teepee. I think fully set up, it's about 4.5 pounds. So with the stakes, with the tent poles and the tent, about 4.5 pounds. So I do sacrifice a little bit of weight with this, but it makes me sleep a whole lot better. And it's really weatherproof. We got into some real wind last year when we were in Utah and a whole bunch of rain and storms when we were in Montana bear hunting, and that thing's held up awesome. Next, sleeping pad, Nemo Tensor. Any sleeping pad will work, but this is the one I just started using for our last bear hunt. It's pretty thick, it's pretty light, and it's very comfortable. I haven't really had to use the insulated portion much. It hasn't been too cold, so we may run into some of that when we're elk hunting in Montana, but we'll see. Nice pad so far. I do carry a backup in the truck. I have an old Climate backup that I've used for the past 2 years, and I actually popped one of them. I have another one now too, but I popped one on a bear hunt, tripod spike. I used to have spikes on the bottom of this. Fell into my sleeping pad and spiked a hole in it, so that led to a night of sleeping on the snowy ground without a pad, and that sucked. So always keep a backup in your truck. Sleeping bag. All wrapped up right now. I'll pull it out just to kind of show you. I keep it in this Sea to Summit dry sack, so even if I fall in the water, everything gets soaked. My sleeping bag is going to be dry. I feel like that's very important. So this is a 15-degree bag, a Stone Glacier Chilkoot. So it's kind of like a 4-season bag. It packs down super small, yet stays super warm. And you can also use it in the warm because it's got a really big opening, and you can almost use it like a quilt. So just this small foot box, keep your feet in there and use the rest like a quilt. That's probably what I'll be doing on the most of this trip. That's what I did in Utah last year. So love this sleeping bag. A little bit expensive, but I've had it for going on 3 years now. So that wraps up my sleep system besides my pillow. So my pillow is actually this. What I keep my extra clothes in. It's the stock bag that came with my sleeping bag. So I throw my puffy in here, extra pants, and I use this as a pillow, and it actually works really nice. I can't stand the inflatable pillows, so I use this instead. And I'll show you what's in here. This is going to be all the clothes I usually take on a backcountry hunt. Now, if I'm just day hunting, I usually won't have this, but if I'm hunting in the backcountry, this comes all the time. Also, keep my extra pair of socks and underwear in a dry bag as well. So First Light underwear, that's what I wear. It's wool. And then Darn Tough socks. Always wear Darn Tough socks. And I keep a backup pair on me. And then I have an extra First Light base layer. All the stuff I wear is mostly First Light. So if you see a lot of First Light, that's why. It's what I purchased 3 years ago, and I've been rocking it ever since. So when I sleep, I usually put a fresh base layer on, and the one I'm wearing, I'll hang out to dry because I always get super sweaty. And then I have a pair of First Light. I think these are the Wick or Kiln. But anyways, merino long johns. I like to sleep in these. So I can put a whole set of dry clothes on when I'm sleeping. And then the last thing in there is my puffy jacket. This is my warmer weather puffy. It is a First Light Uncompadre, I think it's called. And it's been out for quite a while. I've had it for quite a while. It's not the super light. It's actually synthetic, so it's not even down. But this thing has worked pretty well for me over the last couple of years. I have a heavier one. I have a First Light, I think it's called a Chamberlain. But I don't believe I'm going to need that on this hunt because this is, like I said, an early season Montana archery hunt. And that wraps up almost everything in the main bag. Only other thing, 3-liter water bladder. Sometimes I fill it, sometimes I don't, depends on the hunt. If I'm around a lot of water, I'll just work out of my water bottle. But if I'm not around a lot of water, I'll fill this 3-liter. It does get pretty heavy when it's full, so I don't always fill it. Last but not least, in the main section of the bag is my cook set. So if you can see here, MSR spork, nice little spork. Use that for all my freeze-dried meals. And then this stove. Most of the time I'm carrying this stove. There may be some times where I'm hunting just an overnight or during a day that I'm not going to have a freeze-dried meal, so I'm not going to carry a stove. I'm going to save the weight. But this is just it's a Seek Outside titanium pot. So just your normal pot. An MSR wind burner. I believe it's an MSR wind burner. MSR stove. Then I always use the jet fuel because these are the most reliable from what we found out and the most commonly available. So that's my whole cook setup. Bic lighter. You always got to have a couple Bic lighters. And it packs up real nice and small, super light. And I can keep that in my bag for all my freeze-dried meals and coffee. One of those little fuel canisters, I've gone a week on it and I haven't had it empty. I usually put a fresh one in every time I'm going into the backcountry. So I would assume you could probably get 7 to 10 days out of one of those if you're boiling one meal in the evening and then coffee in the morning. That is the main part of the bag. I'll move on to the waist strap. I made a change last year when I went to Utah. I changed to this GSI microlight bottle. So it's a vacuum bottle, kind of like a Yeti mug. So it keeps stuff super cold. Has the wide opening so I can use my Steri pen, which I'll show you in a second. But this is what I use for a water bottle. 1 liter, very light compared to the Yetis, and it's vacuum sealed, so it'll keep ice. It'll keep your drinks cold, and or if you want to put coffee or hot chocolate in there, it keeps that hot. And on the other side, depending on the setup, I may have a pistol over here if we're in grizzly country, but we're going to start this hunt not in grizzly country, so I just have a pouch. And in this pouch, I just keep my battery chargers. So depending on how long I'm going into the backcountry will depend on how many of these I carry. This is an Anchor. Yeah, it's an Anchor. 10,000. So I'll get like 2 or 3 charges on my phone out of this, and I carry all the cords for my inReach, my cameras, and my phone. So I have 3 different cords in there. And I'll usually take one of these for every 2 to 3 days I'm going to hunt. So if I'm going to hunt for 7 days, I'll have 3 of these, and so on and so forth. But those are my batteries. Usually keep them so I can quickly access them in that pouch on my waist. Because one time I got stuck, I was just day hunting, phone died, almost got lost. That's when I shot my mule deer in Montana 2 years ago. So I shot my mule deer, I was taking all sorts of pictures, phone scope, all this crap. Let my phone die, then I almost couldn't find my camp. So I always carry one of these, nice and convenient, right in here. That's the waist pouch. It's usually what I'll carry. Like I said, I'll have a pistol, but I'll talk about that in a minute. And I'll go to these side pouches. So this one on the left side, I usually keep that empty. It gets kind of bulky if you put too much in it. And this is also the side that I'll carry a gun on if I have to carry a gun, so on and so forth. This is going to be an archery hunt, so I'm not going to have a rifle on there. But I usually keep that side empty because it really juts out and you can't put a gun on there if you carry it. And on this side, just my rain jacket. First Light, super light. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a super light rain jacket. Always carry this, even if it's not calling for rain, because we've gotten rain when we weren't supposed to. When we were in Utah last year, I think I have some video of it. It started raining and sleeting on us, and we had to hide under a tree because Dylan didn't have his rain gear. So I always carry that. Next, lid. So the lid is where I keep the little things I need to grab quick. So big things stay in the main bag. That way I can grab these quick. I can throw that stuff out of the main bag and keep this lid attached because this is going to be stuff that I carry throughout the day. Med pouch, possibles pouch. A few of the things in here that I carry, body glide so there's no chafing, sunscreen, cortisone spray, Neosporin, an extra lighter, some quick clot, sometimes deodorant, toothbrush, and a little medical kit, stuff like that. So just this little kit, it's super light. Keep it with me at all times, just in case there's any sort of emergency. And I have my toothbrush and all that in there. All right, next, this is my water kit. This will change sometimes depending on the hunt. But on this hunt, I have, so let's see. Sawyer squeeze filter. This filter is basically used to pre-sanitize the water. I'm not going to drink straight from this, but if I get up to like a really muddy cattle trough or real muddy really nasty creek, I'm going to filter the water with this first, and then I'm going to steri pen it. So if you're not familiar with this steri pen, it uses UV light, and that's why I have the wide mouth bottle. So it uses UV light. You stir it around in your water and it sanitizes the water completely, kills any organisms, microbes, bacteria, anything like that, and your water is completely sanitized. And I use these in conjunction because this will filter out like the larger chunks. This one's not filtering at all, it's just sanitizing. So I use these two together. Also, I have Aquamira drops. So if I'm next to like a really nice stream that's nice and clear, I can put water straight into these big bladders. So I'll carry 2 of these big bladders, put water straight into these big bladders from the creek, treat it with the Aquamira, and it's good to go. It's not doing any filtering, but this Aquamira is killing all the microbes and bacteria and all that. Then this will give me 8 liters of water to keep at camp. So I usually carry both these, fill them up when I can, and this will give me about 1 day out of each one of these of water. So this will give me 2 full days plus all the water I keep. So if I'm going somewhere that doesn't have water, I can at least get 3 days on what I can carry. It starts getting real heavy when you do that, but sometimes you don't have any choice if there's no water in the area, which I'm guessing some of these places we're going to in eastern Montana are not going to have any water. They might have cattle troughs, but I'm bringing these just in case. They're pretty light. And that is my water system. I've been using this system for 3 years now, never gotten sick, never had any issues. So cross my fingers it keeps working, but it has. Full thing of dude wipes. I know a lot of people say this is heavy, but I always bring a full thing because this can be used to clean yourself up, especially after you shoot an animal, then obviously go into the bathroom, all that jazz. Usually the sweet spot's about a half full one of these, so it's not too heavy, but always bring a new fresh one of those. All right, kill kit. So I carry normal set of game bags. It's not a super big set. I think there's 5 normal size game bags in here. So when I'm elk hunting, I may carry 2 extra large ones for hindquarters, but this works perfectly for deer, antelope, bear. I think I've packed out 4 animals with these same game bags, and they're still in perfectly good shape. Pull the animals out, butcher them, throw these in the washer, good to go. And my kill kit is very minimal. I don't carry a whole bunch of stuff. All our tags in Montana this year are on our phones, so we don't even have to worry about carrying tags. But I carry bags for the tenderloins, or if there's any sort of little pieces or anything I need to. Ziploc bags. Then Havalon. So I use a combination of 2 knives. I use a regular Havalon with a regular Havalon blade. So this will do the general cutting. And then I have this Taito, which is like a little skeleton knife that takes Havalon blades. And I'll set this one up with a Havalon, if I can get it out of here, a Havalon saw blade. So this little saw blade, they're disposable. I think you buy them like a pack of 3 for like 15 bucks. So they are a little bit expensive, but this little thing will saw through the wrists on a bear I did last year. If you have any problems getting around the joints on a deer, this will saw through that. If you have to skull cap a deer, this will actually work. It'll be pretty tough, but this will work to skull cap a deer. Haven't had to try it on an elk yet, but maybe that'll be something we do this year. But it's nice to just have a little tiny saw in the backcountry. So I carry those, a little bit of string, some paracord, and a permanent marker, and that is all I carry. Sometimes I'll throw some rubber gloves in there if I'm expecting to, get bloody, but it's not really that big of a deal. Also carry a spare Havalon case for my used blades. Don't leave those blades out in the backcountry. If someone steps on them, it's no good. But that's my kill kit. Not much to it. Super lightweight. This whole thing's probably like a pound, maybe. And the only other thing, rain fly for my pack. Super important. You don't want your pack getting soaked. It's raining, you're doing a river crossing, throw this on there and at least help if you fall down, and at least keep some of that water out of your pack, and obviously helps in the rain. So that is my pack. That's everything that I carry on me in my pack. Next, I will go to my bino harness. So if you've watched our videos in the past, we did a review on these marsupial. Let me get this pack out of here. If you've watched our videos in the past, you've seen our review of the marsupial bino harness. Super nice harness. I carry a lot of extra things in here. First and foremost, Garmin InReach. Always test them to make sure they work before you go in the field, but this is my GPS communicator. It's super nice to have this. I can send text messages. I can send text messages to family, girlfriend, whatever. Tell them I'm okay. And you can also use it as a GPS too if you have the Garmin app, so that is useful as well. Binos, Maven. I think these are the C ones, or yeah, Maven binoculars, cheaper ones. I think they're like $300. Been using them for 3 years. Awesome. Can't complain about them at all, except for maybe they're a little heavy, but those are the binoculars. Rangefinder is also a Maven. Just got this before our bear hunt last year. Awesome rangefinder. Haven't used it bow hunting yet, so that's gonna be interesting. It's a 7 power, which is a little higher power than normal. My last one I think was a 5 power. So we'll see how that works. But I'm super pumped. It worked really well long range scouting and stuff like that, long range shooting. So we'll see how it does bow hunting. But that's the rangefinder. In the sides, I just keep a wind checker, and then lens cloth for my cameras, binoculars, all that. Usually in the front, I'll keep extra batteries for my GoPro when I'm filming, and I keep a little extra couple dude wipes in here, just in case you have any emergencies. These single dude wipes are nice, but usually just a couple GoPro batteries up front. On the left-hand side, Peaks headlamp, super nice headlamp. I think it's called the Solo Backcountry or something, I don't know, but super nice headlamp. Has a lockout feature so it doesn't die in your pack. Battery lasts forever. I can recharge it with my battery pack, so I never have to really worry about that going dead. Also carry a backup headlamp. This is a tiny little pacl. I can't remember exactly what it's called. Super tiny little pacl. Make sure the batteries are good on it. That's just in case anything happens to my main headlamp, I can still get home. Also have the flashlight on my phone. So 3 lights. I feel like that's sufficient in the backcountry. And then also in the bottom, just some more dude wipes. And then shoved into the little pockets in here, carry an extra Bic lighter for emergencies. And then a chapstick, just because we're out in the sun getting chapped, blah, blah, blah. On these, I carry some Leuco tape as well. So if you have blisters, this Leuco, it's like a sports tape that like volleyball players wear on their shoulders and stuff. It works awesome for blisters. So you get a blister, throw that stuff on there, you're good to go. And that is my bino harness. So that's pretty much everything I'm carrying in the backcountry. There's probably some stuff I'm forgetting, but I'm doing this 2 days before I leave. So hopefully if I'm forgetting something, I can remember. Oh, the one other thing I didn't mention, Crocs. These are my camp shoes. I only take these shoes if I'm doing a kind of like a extended stay backcountry. So if I'm going for more than 3 or 4 days, I'll bring these shoes so I can take my boots off back at camp and dry my feet out. If I'm just going overnight, 1-2 days, not going to carry these, but they also work well for river crossings. So I've used these for river crossings. We had to do it when we were in Montana. A little sketchy, but the Crocs worked well. All right, next, before I talk about what's on my body when I'm hunting, I'll talk about the bear protection I carry. So Glock 20 Gen 4 and Underwood ammo. I think these are 220 hard casts. So if I have to shoot a grizzly bear, I feel like this is my best chance at survival. Is it an ideal situation? No. Only an emergency, and I feel like I can put as many shots on target in as quickly time as possible with this Glock 20. More so than with a large bore revolver. It gives me 15 shots at 10 millimeter. Is it going to stop a giant, 1,500 pound bear from mauling me to death? Maybe not, but it makes me sleep a little bit better at night. So that's when I'm in grizzly country. When I'm not in grizzly country, just for weight savings, I carry this small 357. It's a Ruger SP101, 3-inch barrel. So I carried in Idaho all last year. And I actually use this in a pocket holster in the back of my marsupial gear bino harness. So just like that, it rides right here. Keeps a handgun handy. This is just kind of for emergencies, concealed carry type purposes. Maybe if I run into a wolf or a cougar or something, it gives me a fighting chance. Any two-legged issues you have out there, since you're way out in the backcountry, it's for protection from that as well. So I'll carry that when I'm not in grizzly country, Glock 20 when I am. Next, what I'm wearing on my body. So footwear, very important. Obviously, everybody says footwear is very important. I wear crispy Laponias. Been wearing these for 3 years. They're about worn out, so this is probably the last year I have out of them. I also have a backup pair of crispy Wild Rocks. They're a little bit insulated, so I don't like wearing them when it's hot out, but I do have 2 pairs of boots. These are by far my favorite. Hopefully I'm not sliding down a mountain because the tread is pretty worn out. And then my clothes. A little bit of a pro tip. I keep my clothes that I'm going to wear while I'm traveling in its own duffel bag. I actually have 2 of these duffel bags that are set up exactly the same with exactly the same clothes. So if I had to go back to the truck, swap out, re-gear, I have another duffel bag with exactly the same clothes in it. I know it's expensive to have 2 sets of this really expensive clothing, but when I'm on these extended trips, it's highly, highly worth it. So you'll see me wearing a lot of the same things in these videos because I have 2 sets of them. Some of the colors are a little different, but the basics are the same. Pants. First Light Corrugate Foundry. Super nice pants, super durable. Not the lightest weight, but I sacrifice a little bit of that weight to have the durability. These, you can slide down rocky hills. You don't got to worry about tearing them. Been wearing this same pair of pants for probably 30 plus days in the backcountry, I'd say. A couple little tiny pinholes, but they've been holding up great. I love these pants. I already talked about it a little bit. Darn Tough socks. These are the medium cushion padded high sock. These are the ones I wear. I have like 5 or 6 pairs of them. Carry an extra pair. They're great. You can wear them for like 7 days without them getting too nasty. Lifetime warranty, so that's also nice. Gloves. Haven't quite figured out a good pair of gloves. I like these mechanics camo gloves. They're cheap. You still have your dexterity, but they're not waterproof at all. I tried to use some leather gloves when we were bear hunting, but the weather wasn't really conducive to leather gloves. It was super hot, so these would have been better. So this is what I'm going to bring. If it gets rainy and wet, these suck when they get wet, but I'll have them just in case. Belt. This is a marsupial gear. I think it's their stretch belt, so it's a little bit stretchy. It's nice to have that stretch because you lose some weight out in the backcountry. I'll probably lose 10 to 15 pounds on this trip over the course of the 3 weeks. So it's nice to have this stretchy belt. Keep your pants up. It's comfortable, lightweight. I don't know. It's a belt. First Light underwear. Already talked about it a little bit. Just merino wool underwear. Keeps everything smelling fresh. Keeps you from getting sticky. Dries out super fast. You can wear them when they don't get stinky, and those are just nice. Face mask. Don't wear this too often, but maybe if I want to stalk or if the wind's blowing like crazy, I'll wear the merino wool face mask. Gaiters. Haven't decided if I'm going to wear these on the east side yet. When we're hunting on the west side in the wetter weather, colder weather, in the rocks, I'm definitely going to wear these. They keep your pants nice and dry, durable. The bottoms of your pants won't get frayed because all the wear goes to these. But I don't know if I'm going to wear them on the east side because they're kind of noisy and they have Velcro. So if I need to take my boots off to make a stalk, the Velcro's super loud, so you can't do that near the animal. So I'll be wearing these on and off, probably not on the east side, even though there is snakes out there, so maybe those will come in handy. All right, on top, I wear a First Light, just a super light, it's a wick t-shirt. I think I had one in my bag. Then over that, I always wear this Kiln hoodie. So I love wearing this little, it's like a merino wool hoodie. Works great. This is probably all I'll be wearing on the east side because the weather's going to be in the 70s and 80s. But if I need to get a little bit more insulation, I'll wear the Klamath over that. It's a synthetic, kind of like a grid fleece. Love this hoodie more than anything. I think I've killed all the animals I've shot in the past 2 years wearing this, including here in Ohio. So I'll wear this if it's a little bit cooler. And that's basically all I wear. If it gets colder, I throw on my puffy jacket. Sometimes I'll have a vest if needed, but that is what I wear on my body. And that's pretty much the sum of my gear. The last thing I'll talk about before I wrap this up is the weapon I'll be using. Like I said, this is a general season archery hunt, so I'll be using this bow throughout the whole state. 2019 Matthews VXR. I think I have a 29.5-inch draw length, 75 pounds. Super nice bow. Shot my mule deer with it at 74 yards last year. It still is pretty fast. I shoot a heavier arrow. my arrow setup is, it's an Easton Axis 5mm, 75 grains up front plus the 100 grain point, so 175 grains up front, including the broadhead. And I'm using Slick Trick Razor Tricks or Slick Trick Raptor Tricks, one of the two. Over the top expandable. These have worked great for me the last couple years. I am going to switch broadheads to a Sever when I'm elk hunting, but out east, mule deer and antelope hunting, these have shot the best for me. They're the most aerodynamic. I can shoot out to 70, 80 yards with these without any issue. So I'm going to be using these in the east. And then I'll switch to the Severs when I'm hunting in the west for elk, because they have a little bit smaller cutting diameter, a little bit more proven with the penetration, but these should work just fine for mule deer and antelope. And that is my setup. If you have any other questions about certain sights, rest, however I set my bow up, I'll let you know. But thanks for watching. This is my Western gear dump, basically. And wish me luck on the road. I leave in 2 days. I'm going to try to get this video posted before I leave. And that's my gear. Be sure to like and subscribe. Check out Leaky Gear. And that's it. We'll catch you next time.